Welcome to Lancashire Witchy Crafts. The project we are going to make is a bag gecko. You can use this charm on either a handbag or a child's rucksack. So we're going to make a gecko. A gecko is a technique that you can use with these beads, or if you have smaller seed beads it's exactly the same principle. But they look pretty good on a rucksack or a handbag or keys. So we're going to make these. You need a piece of card or a plate just to put your beads on. You need some sellotape and a pair of scissors. Take your kit and sort into colours. So just pop your ribbon to one side for a minute. You've also got a hook, pop that to one side, and then sort into colours. You might want to pause the video now while you sort your beads. So once you've sorted your beads, we'll just do a quick count. You should have 12 of one colour. Mine are orange. All the kits are different colours, so it just depends on the numbers that are in your beads as to what colour they are. You then have 2, they're going to be the eyes. You have one odd one, which is going to be the nose. And then you should have 42, approximately 42, doesn't matter if there's 40 or 44, it doesn't make any difference. Approximately 42 of one colour, and I'm going to refer to those as your body colours. So that's your body, these are going to be your claws, the ones that you've got 12 of, 2 eyes and 1 nose. Take your ribbon and we're just going to put some sellotape on the ends of each ribbon, just so that it makes it easier to thread through your beads. If you do have a darning needle or anything with a large eye, you can use a darning needle. I'm just going to take 2 small pieces of sellotape . It's about a centimetre and a half, about 3/4 of an inch, it's not precise. Take the ends, one end of your ribbon and put a few twists in the end, and then just wrap the sellotape tightly around the end of the ribbon, just so it doesn't fray too much. Like I say, it helps you thread through the beads. Cut off any extra, I just give it a final twist so that it goes together into a point. You now need to do exactly the same with your other piece of ribbon. So twist the end, place on your sellotape and roll so that it's tight. Okay, so that's the ends of our tape sorted out. Next you're going to take the hook and place one end of the ribbon through the hook and pull the hook all the way down to the middle. So you put both your ends of your ribbon together, pull your hook to the middle, and I'm just going to tie a single knot to hold the hook in place. You might want to get somebody to hold the hook for you, or put the hook in your mouth while you pull the ribbon. So that's your hook attached to your ribbon. Normally when people bead, the way we do beads is just stack one bead on top of another, like so. Which is fine if you're going to do a necklace, but not if you're going to make an object like the gecko. So we're going to introduce a different technique for you to use. So we're going to start off with his nose, and that's one odd bead that you should have. So put the bead, one end of the ribbon through the bead and hold the bead near the top. Take your opposite end of ribbon and push that through the bead so that the ribbon is entering the bead on both sides. And then we're going to pull all the way down to the bottom. And that's his nose. We refer to this as locking the beads in place. Okay, I'm just going to demonstrate that again if anybody didn't get it. So take your bead, take one end of the wire of the ribbon, pass that through the bead and hold the bead towards the top. Take the opposite end of the ribbon and pass that through the opposite side of the bead, opposite from the first one that you did. So you can see both pieces of ribbon lie side by side. And then pull the bead to your hook. Okay, we're going to do the same technique, but we're going to use two of the body beads. So these are the ones that you've got lots of. And we're going to place two beads, exactly the same process, two beads onto the wire, onto the ribbon near the top. We're going to take the opposite piece of ribbon and push that back through the beads. So you have an end of ribbon coming out each side of the beads. And then we're going to pull those all the way down till we get to the nose. So we've now attached the hook, the nose and two body beads. Same technique again, we're going to add the eyes. So look for the beads that you just have two of, and you're going to put one of your eye beads onto your ribbon, one body bead, which is the one that you have the most colours of, and your other eye bead. You're going to take the opposite piece of ribbon and thread that back through the three beads. And pull both ends of your string, your ribbon, all the way down to the bottom. Doesn't matter whether your ribbons get twisted, they look fine. So we've got hook, nose, a line of body beads and a line with the eyes. Same technique again, you need two body beads. These are the ones that you have the main colours. Take your opposite piece of ribbon and thread through both the beads. So it looks like that. And pull all the way down to the bottom. Your gecko will start to twist a little bit, but that will sort itself out as we progress. If you just have a quick look at a finished gecko, this is where we are at the moment. So we've done the hook, the nose, body beads, two eyes, and we've just done these two beads here. So we're going to start and make the claws, and this is a different technique. So to make the claws, you're just going to use one piece of ribbon on each side, so you just need to make sure that for the opposite side you use the other piece of ribbon. And you're going to place 2 body coloured beads, and then the beads that you have 12 of, you are going to place 3 of those onto your ribbon, and these are all just placed on like you would if you was making a necklace. Move those beads all the way down to where you was working with the other beads. Now what you're going to do is we're going to make the beads fan around like this. So take the same end of ribbon that you've been working with, and you're going to pass the ribbon, ignore the 3 claws, the 3 beads for your claw. You're going to take the ribbon and push it back down through those 2 beads and pull tight. And as you pull, the 3 beads on the end form a little triangle. If yours is still looking a bit like this, all you need to do is adjust the beads a little bit and pull the ribbon tighter, and they'll go into a triangle shape. If you've got that technique, you're okay, but you might want to pause your machine for a second, because I'm going to repeat that and just show you again, just so that you get it right. So I'm going to start and do a claw, just using 1 piece of ribbon. You're going to place 2 body beads on your ribbon and 3 of your 12 claw beads. So you have 5 beads in total. You're going to slide those beads back down to the body. I'm just going to separate them slightly to make it easier. Take the same end of ribbon that you've been working with and just push the end down through those 2 beads towards the main beads. Pull those tightly. If you end up where you've got quite a gap, you just need to work the ends so that the beads go together and tight, and make sure they form a triangle at the end. So that's one of the claws made. Take that piece of ribbon that you've been working with, put that to one side, and you're now going to work on the opposite side. You're going to do exactly the same again. So 2 body beads and 3 of your claw beads. So we've got 5 beads. Move those all the way down to the main body. Just going to separate them slightly, and I'm going to take the same piece of ribbon that I've been working with and push it through those 2 beads back towards the main part of the gecko. Pull those tightly, work your beads so that they go back to the middle, back to the body. So you can see how our gecko is starting to develop. This is the finished article. So we've just done the 2 claws. We're going to now carry on and make the body. This is using exactly the same technique that we started with, where we're going to lock the beads. So you need 2 body beads onto 1 piece of thread. Take the opposite end of your ribbon and pass that piece of ribbon through your beads. Pull both ends all the way down till they get to sit alongside the other beads, and pull them as tight as you can. We're now going to do 3 body beads. Again, the same technique of locking, so 3 body beads. Take your opposite end of ribbon and pass those through all 3 beads. You might need to separate them a little to work the ribbon through. We have an end of ribbon coming out of each end of the beads, and pull those tight. We're going to do the same again. It doesn't matter which piece of ribbon you start with, whether it's the one in your right hand or your left hand, doesn't matter. So we're now going to do 4 beads, and we're going to lock those together. And we're going to take our opposite piece of ribbon and we're going to feed that through all 4 beads. And then pull your ribbon tight. And then we're going to do another 4 body beads. And you're going to feed the opposite piece of ribbon, just as we've been doing before, through all 4 body beads. And pull those beads down. You're now going to repeat that step again, so that's 4 body beads. Thread your opposite ribbon through all 4. And then pull both ends of the ribbon tight. Continuing with the body, we're going to do 3 body beads. Take your opposite piece of ribbon and thread that through all 3. And pull those. So if you go back to our finished one, you can see we're about to start and do the next claws. So to do the claws, you need 2 body beads. This is on one end of ribbon, and 3 claws. And these are just put on the ribbon like you would if you was making a necklace. Move the beads down towards the body. Just separate your claws from your body beads. Take the same end of ribbon, push that through the beads towards the body, and then pull tight. Take the end that you just worked with, that to one side, and use your opposite piece of ribbon. And now it's the same again, so 2 body beads, and you should just have 3 claw beads left. Move your beads down towards the body. I'm just going to separate, and I'm going to pass the ribbon back through 2 beads towards the body of the gecko, and then pull. Tight. So our gecko now has 4 legs and 4 sets of claws. We're going to go back to the locking technique. And we're going to place 2 body beads onto the ribbon. And the opposite piece of ribbon goes back through the beads. And pull all the way down to the body. Now we come into the last section, and we're going to make his tail. Now, however many beads you've got left, we're just going to use those. So it's a single bead, and we're going to lock that bead by passing the opposite piece of ribbon through the bead and pull tight. And just repeat that. So it's a single bead that you lock and pull tight. A single bead, pass the opposite end of the other ribbon through and lock, and just continue with those. And just tie a double knot at the end of your last bead. Now we have our gecko. Now for the ends, you can either leave the sellotape in place, or you can pull the sellotape off and either put a dab of glue on the end or tie another knot to stop your ribbon fraying. And that's our gecko. Here's a couple of examples using the same technique that I've made. These are actually dragonflies, which is a different pattern, but you could make the geckos. These are using seed beads and wire. The technique is exactly the same, so you could make these into a small key holder, small key ring, or earrings. And here's another one that I've also made. A little bit fiddly to do, but if you have the dexterity, then they work out quite well. But it's exactly the same technique of locking and then making the claws or the wings.